You're lucky today to get a preview of the new RSD headquarters. Behind us is where we're going to have a RSD board of directors meeting tonight with Tyler and the rest of the instructors and advisors who advise Real Social Dynamics. I also wanted to do a show today, so let me answer a question I got from a member from the RSD Founders Club. Here's a question from a gold member of the RSD Founders Club. He gave me a little bit of a backstory as well. Hello. I'm a gold member of RSD Founders Club. It's awesome stuff. I have one big question. I just left my job that I did very well, but I was fine with the decision of should I stay or should I start something on my own. My job killed the excitement and my inner motivation, and now when I work, I don't have this crazy excitement or the killer instinct. I'm not so hungry and my drive isn't more than a 4 to 5. How can I make it a 10? But not like a fake motivation, but the inner one. How can I grow my power motivation? I sleep 7 hours, I train, and I eat healthy. Which is a great question. Let's answer it.
As a material witness of an aggravated delivery with a handgun, and we believe there may be retaliation to your testimony. As a material witness of your aggravated
I find it very interesting when I get questions about motivation and passion, because ever since I was a little kid, most of my motivation came from incentives that my family threw upon me. So you have a very ambitious family. At the same time, ever since I was a little kid, I had everything from like a tour chart or a chore chart, where I got little stickers to be put on a chart every time I accomplish a certain chore. Now in the business world, you don't get that. You don't get these prizes, rewards from a parents. You don't get like an allowance or what have you. And many people, they don't come from a family where they even get that. So a lot of it comes from that internal motivation, that drive and passion to push things forward. Now for me, a lot of it came from two kinds of motivating factors. One is punishment, the other one is reward. But both of those things came internally to me. For example, whether it was in my dating life or my business life, if there was something, anything whatsoever that I wanted to accomplish, and if there was a reason, like a fear or some kind of a time constraint or like a challenge, like maybe it was a little bit too difficult for a lot of people and they would kind of doubt themselves, well, I would put those challenges on myself personally. I remember when I was looking at doing my first cold approach pickup, and there was a beautiful girl sitting down by the water. And that idea of having to do that first cold walk up, because most people, they're not naturally born just charismatic to walk up to talk to girls and pick them up. I made this challenge to myself and I said, you know what, if I don't do this, I'm just gonna stand right in the middle of this square here, because I was in like this town square area, and just start punching myself in the face like Fight Club. 5 seconds later, instead, I was talking to this girl. It's these internal motivations. In terms of punishment, that's what it is. The other option is reward. A lot of it came from the fact that I know that if I approach this girl, I could end up with this girl. I'm gonna get success. And the same thing goes into business life. Now in Real Social Dynamics, we've had so many different challenges in terms of growing this company, and a lot of the fear I had in terms of like Real Social Dynamics as like a punishment to myself came from that fear that RSD would not become what it needed to be, would not have the resources to support those people that have been loyal to the core, to our business and to our operations. So a lot of the things that happened might have been when we had Project Hollywood Mansion. Right now we're in a beautiful house that's even larger than Project Hollywood Mansion, but back in the day when we first started, we were in a mansion that was amazing. It was super awesome for like parties, for business, for socializing, for having our friends live together. And we all moved into this mansion and we had this common desire, this common mission, vision, and goal, which is the most important and first step before you could actually start the process of motivating yourself. Before you can even motivate yourself, you need to clearly know what that vision and goal is. You could write it down. For me, it was so deeply ingrained in my head, I didn't need to write down anything. I knew what I wanted. It was like the single-minded focus. I consider myself a great multitasker, and I don't think that having multitasking skills and having focus is anything that is contradictory. At the same time, I had a single focus that I wanted to accomplish a goal of making RSD a very successful company. So with the pressures of maintaining the overhead of this large mansion, and also not knowing the variable risks of what happens as an entrepreneur in terms of growing my company, growing my business, making it successful, I didn't know what I was going to do. However, I did know that those people that dedicated their lives, at least what it seemed like in terms of like their short careers, and we were just starting maybe like a year or two into the business, but it felt like these guys were dedicating their time to us, and I felt like I was kind of intrinsically motivated to kind of help these guys make sure that I was able to support them, support their needs, support their goals. And that fear of failure for them, that fear of letting someone else down, was something that motivated me internally and personally, because I cared about these people. I had love, I had passion. I wanted to make sure these people were successful because they believed in this vision, this mission, this goal that Owen set up for our company. And I mutually was bought into this. I wanted to make sure I was successful. I mean, a lot of the goals and motivation in life comes from the higher purpose. I was in the Air Force, and in the military, a lot of it comes from sense of country. It's something that's bigger and greater than yourself. So that higher purpose and intention is something that motivates a lot of people to succeed. The motivations that you have in business to get success are a lot different than, let's say, you have some other kind of personal goal like health and fitness. In health and fitness, you're kind of doing it just for yourself. You want to maintain that healthy lifestyle so you can have the energy, the mindset, the passion, and also the overall ability to have life and kind of like move forward with your energy. And that's what fitness is really geared for. It's for you. It's not for anyone else. Unless you're trying to do it for, say, your girlfriend or a girl that you're dating who wants you to get into better shape. Or let's say you're in the military and you want to get in shape for combat. Now, if you have, say, going off the military, when I was in the Air Force, a lot of our goals were kind of as a team. So you relied upon each other. You have the inner workings of a team. You don't want to let your brothers down. When we built this company as a brotherhood, where everyone relied on each other person. And as a result, a lot of my motivation came from relying on making sure that the goals of my brothers were successful. Making sure they were able to accomplish their goals in terms of getting more clients, making sure they were able to meet hot girls, get access to cool clubs, get access to an awesome office, which was the mansion that we had in the Hollywood Hills, Project Hollywood Mansion. Today, it's the same thing, no different. A lot of my actions are all based upon that same principle. From the very beginning, I still have that same deep-rooted loyalty to our instructors and making sure that our clients get the highest quality program possible. I know that Owen's goal has always been that higher purpose belief that he could influence a large amount of people and have a very strong, powerful impact on the world. My goal was to try to create a massive company that was going to grow, have a huge influence as well on a global scale. And so what I did is I ended up traveling around the world to over 100 countries in order to do that. And it was that higher purpose that I kind of set myself as kind of like this dream, this kind of vision. It's so easy, though, to fall into the trap of just getting comfortable. I know that for me, I've had times where I didn't want to work. I had times where I just wanted to play golf or video games. For a lot of you who end up getting into a regular job and you kind of have like a routine, you go to work, you have fun at night after work with your friends, you go to sleep, and then you repeat the process. And then maybe on the weekend you might go on a vacation somewhere. And for a lot of people, that's awesome. I know that from my brother. He's the exact opposite of me in terms of entrepreneurship. All he wants to do is hang out with his wife. He works for the government as a computer programmer, and I think it's great, it's fun. But his motivating factors are that he wants to have a happy family, he wants to spend as much time with his family, and that's it. For a lot of people, if you have a tough business though, if you have like a business, even as a job, if you're not a business owner, if you just have a job, or if you have a business and it's really tough, you might not want it. You might suck the soul out of you. It might kind of make you like hate it. I mean, most people don't have the luxury of having a job that they're really truly passionate about. I know that whether you're a business owner, whether you work for somebody else, if you have a lot of fun, that innovation, that entrepreneurship, that resourcefulness, that's kind of cool because you could always have new projects. For me, that's cool. Other people, they just want to have that same routine. They just want to wake up and have the same routine again and again and again. Now, in the question, my student said, you know what, I feel like my motivation is a 4 out of 5. And I don't feel like I want to build a new business or work really hard. That basically will come down to what are your goals and needs. I mean, if you're feeling that motivation is a 4 or 5, that's most likely because you're kind of complacent and satisfied with where you are. Now, a lot of people don't want to kind of take that next step and build a business because of sacrifice, and also because most people who build a business will fail. 99% of companies will go out of business in 5 years. 9 out of 10 businesses will go out of business in 3 years. I do not recommend most people become an entrepreneur. I'm not here to train people to become entrepreneurs either. I think that if you're entrepreneurial, you kind of like are naturally an entrepreneur, and you might want to build businesses and take that risk if you have that risk adverseness. However, at the same time, I used to be a financial planner, and people used to look at their needs in terms of like whether they want to become someone who invested in risky stocks, if they want a more safe retirement plan, or they want to invest in something really long term like a government plan. And I think all the above is fine. It really depends on what kind of person you are. At the same time, it sounds like the question is given to me because you're considering whether you want to become an entrepreneur, you want to start a business. And if you want to do that, realize you're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. Sacrifices on your time, your friends, your family, your money, and the risk is high, very high. In fact, there's a high risk of failure. If you're willing to sacrifice and lose it all, because I was that kind of person, I'm willing to sacrifice and lose it all the time. Because I know that I have a safety net, and I also know I believe in the faith and power of my people. I believe that they're very influential, very charismatic, they're hustlers, and they work hard. If you have that hustle in you, if you have that hard work ethic more than anything else, then you can succeed as a business owner, but you got to build that first. Some of the things that really motivated me were parallels to getting success in business. For example, I love the idea of being able to run marathons. I love the ideas of taking it even further and doing the Ironman race. I did both of these. I did these not because I thought it was really cool and exciting just to run a lot or bike a lot or swim a lot. I did it as a kind of like a parallel in life, as a challenge to myself. Very early on in my youth, I was somebody who loved the challenge of being able to outlast the competition. In terms of like studying, I would stay up all night just try to get an A. I would run during those long jogathons and marathons and just keep going for as long as I could, even when I had no energy left, just to see how far I could test my body and the limits of what was possible. The same thing happened when I wanted to do these long endurance challenges, because I wanted to put in the work to see how far I could push myself. Right now I'm wearing a Fitbit. This thing tracks your steps. I originally got it because there's this very old guy who from Japan. He said that his ability to live for so long was relying on the fact that he took 10,000 steps a day. I was doing that, but I wanted to push it further. So one day I did 75,000 steps. I got on a treadmill, I got on a treadmill desk, I was working, and then at the end of the day I was just running as long as I could, as fast as I could, trying to push things further. None of this has anything to do with business, but it parallels the work ethic that you need to hustle if you want to create a business. See, I motivated myself internally to prove to myself that I could survive the suffering and pain and physical endurance that make it possible for me to push these things forward and accomplish these higher goals, and see how far I could push and challenge myself against myself and against nobody else. In Olympic sports, that's how it is. When you're trying to practice your skills in terms of picking up girls, you don't measure yourself against other players that are picking up girls. You measure it against who you are and what goals you've accomplished in the past to see if you have that milestones. The mastery curve is something that's like a jagged staircase. It's not like you continually have this upward progression. And as a result, you got to be ready for that. So in terms of like motivating myself internally and within to get success in the business life and go from like a 4 or 5 to a 10, some of the things that motivated me was the following things. One was fear. I didn't want to be lackadaisical. I didn't want to be mediocre. I didn't want to be somebody who didn't accomplish the goals that I had personally given to myself. The second one was not just fear for me, but fear for others. I don't want to let other people down, people who rely on my success and want to have phenomenal success themselves and were ambitious and push hard. Unless I had that myself, they would fail as well. For those times where I felt happy and I felt like totally easy with going, and I was maybe going on vacation a lot, and I had a couple of years where I was more of an advisor for Real Social Dynamics than I was the CEO, where I was really relaxing, building upon my relationship with my wife, and kind of just chilling. A lot of that lackadaisical attitude, where you could say your motivation is a 4 or 5, came from the fact that I kind of felt like I already had what I wanted in life. And as a result, I didn't feel like I needed to push the business limits as hard as I need to now. At the same time now, I believe that I want to push it further because I want to get some of the gifts that come from having a successful business, like having more wealth for my family. I was inspired a lot by the work ethic of our instructors, by their videos, and by the new and innovative ideas that they put through their videos. And as a result, I was inspired to create my own YouTube channel, to create the RSD Founders Club product, to go out and teach live programs, webinars, and teleconferences, even though I've spent so many of the last few years doing none of that, doing no teaching, just running operations. And I did that because I liked the newness of it all. Some of the things that I think motivate people is just something new. Whether it's something that's a new extracurricular activity, whether it's something that's a new passion, anything that's new. I think that's why people like broadening their network, broadening their social circle, expanding upon that, because they get new ideas, and that creativity is what really inspires almost anyone. That's why people don't watch the same TV show again and again. They want to watch another one, then another one. They don't want to watch the same movie a million times. Maybe they do if it's really awesome, but the variety is what excites people and motivates people. I think that for me internally, that's what I've had to do. That's why I like Real Social Dynamics. One of the reasons why I like being a business owner is because I could dabble my hands into marketing, the sales and operations, HR, IT, and even the instructing itself that has nothing to do with the administration that we've built around the world. At the same time, I think that it's a unique thing to me. I mean, I grew up always trying to be involved with every kind of activity, every kind of sport, every kind of like social activity, every kind of extracurricular activity. And I love the ability to dabble in that, except I do have very strong skill sets in terms of technology and sales and operational organization. So I focus my strengths on those three things. At the same time, I love the idea of teaching and the passion of doing things, but I think I'm a better executor than I am a teacher in almost any sense of anything that I've gained mastery over, because I'm so into doing things. I believe I can transfer the skills into students. But if I look at guys like Tyler, who are visionaries in our company, Tyler is somebody who always innovates. He's continually moving to the next idea, big thought. It's always a new creative process and mission. I love it. I think it's awesome. For me, a lot of it just comes from the speed of execution of ideas and getting stuff done. Motivating myself is a lot about getting things done, action. I hate waiting. I consider myself a patient person, but when I feel like there's kind of a bottleneck, whether it's like waiting in line for a restaurant or a club or a queue for anything, that annoys me more than anything else. I'm the kind of person though, who when I was a kid and I had a button-down shirt all the way down from my neck to my belly, I wouldn't even unbutton my shirt. I would just unbutton the top two buttons and take off my shirt because I hated wasting time. Not everyone has to have that extreme mentality. I have a lot of extreme beliefs. At the same time, I think what you could realize is that what motivates me is just the ability to accomplish as much as I can in as fast amount of time as possible. For a lot of other people though, they have these dreams and goals and they want to get things done perfectly. They want to master that process. I think that's a totally different way of thinking, and I think a lot of that parallels what Owen does. He has this awesome perfectionism he puts into almost everything he does. But he does it at a good pace and it gets faster and faster and faster. I think we work great as a team because I'm someone who is motivated by execution and that speed, and he's motivated by that perfect, awesome quality product. And together we build Real Social Dynamics to deliver both with as much awesome content and putting it out there and giving it to the world as fast as possible. It's the combination of these visions and goals that make everything successful. Now, in terms of motivating yourself is also useful by having a team. I have a board of advisors of millionaires and billionaires, and we meet together on a regular basis. We might rent a mansion in Park City, Utah, like where I met my wife during one of my board trips, or we might just go in a forum using the systems like the Entrepreneurs Organization, the Young Presidents Organization, and similar organizations where we meet on a monthly basis, and you have a forum where we share ideas about our personal, family, and business life, and we kind of just grow from there. We stay accountable. So if we had a goal from the previous month, we'll say, did you accomplish that goal? If not, what happened? How are you going to make it so that you can accomplish those goals? And having accountability partners is extremely useful. You have a coach, and then you have a strategy session leader who kind of guides you through the process. The coach will guide you before you try to accomplish your goal. Let's say that your goal is to accomplish XYZ over 30 days. You meet with that coach, and you share ideas, and that coach says, okay, cool, I'm going to keep you accountable for this. And you have a strategy partner who at the end of it says, okay, did you accomplish those goals? And if you did, what steps did you take to accomplish them? And what you need to do it so you accomplish the goals in the future? You have key performance indicators. You can track that. For me, having a blog, like for golf, I wanted to gain mastery over golf. I have a blog, it's a golf blog. Or having a journal, just tracking your progress little by little, because you don't have to just accomplish that larger goal. As long as you're making baby steps towards that goal, that's good enough. So if you look at these overwhelming goals, some of the things that demotivate people is just that that goal is so large. It's so big, so they don't even want to try to take that first step. But by taking the first step and moving forward to the next step and the next step and the next step, that's what's going to get you to accomplishing those goals. And it also makes things a lot less scary. The field reports that people post in Real Social Dynamics Nation is another way that people track it for their dating life. Now for their business life, you track it by having a board, and if you don't have a board, you don't have any partners, you don't have the resources, if you own your own business, you could track it by having an accountability by tracking your revenue, tracking your sales. Let's say you have a job and you work for somebody else, and maybe you're a consultant or a programmer. You're tracking it project by project and making it be put on time. Now I know that when I was working at Intel, I had a project report, and I tracked it, and I said, you know what, these are the goals that I accomplished, and I would talk to my manager about what he expected me to accomplish and make realistic goals. I think that helped me accomplish my goals for my business. The problem that a lot of people face, and why I feel like a lot of people will say their job is killing them, is because unfortunately they don't have a manager, they don't have a team that is motivated to help them in the right way. Some of the things you could do is try to make it work. Take you guys out to lunch, have a strategy session, talk about why you're feeling the way you're feeling and how you might be able to make it better. Because although it's personally a situation where it's affecting you emotionally, nobody else is going to know what you feel unless you convey it. And in the business world, although a lot of it is about objective strategic expenses and accomplishing them at certain times, a lot of it is about that personal relationship. Business, first and foremost, is about business relationships. If you don't have mutual trust, respect, and a positive attitude and outlook, there is no business. If you believe you had a killer instinct, whether you're an investment banker working for a large firm, whether you're an entrepreneur killing it, growing a massive, fast-growing tech company, it doesn't matter. It's all about whether or not you believe that you're having the resources to kill it. So if you don't have that, talk to the people on your team, talk to your manager, and make sure you get on the same page. At the same time, building that team yourself if you want to be the leader of that team, or building that team yourself if you want to be a business owner, is a truly new skill that you have to develop. It's a skill about where you maintain that vision, that motivation, to get everyone on the same page. When I asked J.W. de Klerk how he was able to end apartheid in a culture that was so for it, he said he was able to do it by motivating his team to have that common mission, goal, and objective. And the only way to do that is to inspire people, passionately believe in that purpose, that higher purpose, that mission. If you don't believe that you have that higher purpose to get success in your life, we have a lot of tools. One of them is a YouTube channel called RSD Motivation. This is one of the most popular channels in all of RSD, and it's kind of like the hidden gem because it has a combination of all the RSD instructors motivating our clients and students of what they believe, their mindsets, their outlooks, their blueprints. You can listen to this channel all day, and we kind of cheated by making it full of fancy cinematic videos that kind of captivate you. So you just can't stop watching it because it's like action-based. It's the most entertaining and like value-based videos that you can watch. And a lot of people will download it onto their iPhones or just listen to it while they're in their car to motivate them to start their day. Other people will go to motivational seminars. A lot of our people will go to see Tony Robbins, or they'll see other people that motivate them in life in general. If you have a particular kind of motivation, like let's say you want to get motivated in marketing or in technology, you'll go to those kind of conferences and meet up with people that are really motivated in taking those skills to the next level. But get those masterminds. For me, I kind of keep myself in check through formal education. It's kind of crazy because I've been in formal education for over a decade after high school. In terms of university experience, I went from going through 2 MBA programs, doing an undergrad, doing a postdoc certificate at Cornell, and now being at Harvard. And I'm so hardcore in education that I live in the West Coast, yet I'm going to Harvard. So I fly to Harvard to go to classes, fly back. And I actually have to coordinate this with my wife because she's also going to Harvard. So it's kind of a challenge. But I do this because by being around intellectually successful people, I'm able to motivate and inspire myself through this higher purpose of teamwork with people that I haven't met. I love the newness of networking with other really intelligent people. I love the ideas that come, what Tony Hsieh calls return on collisions, ROC. He believes that's more powerful than ROI, return on investment, because the ideas that come from people that are smart, motivated, and are willing to take action is so powerful that is more powerful than money, because the money will come when you invest in the right people. If you ask any venture capitalist, you ask any investor why they're investing in a company, it's always about the person, not necessarily the idea, because everyone on the planet has an idea. And sometimes that idea is that next billion-dollar idea. Many people before Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook had the exact same idea. MySpace is one example. The only difference is that the people that are behind these ideas take those ideas and propel it to the next level. The question isn't about what's going to motivate you to take your game, your mindset, your business life from a 4 or 5 to a 10. The question is, what can you do so that you can accomplish your goals? What can you do so that you develop a work ethic so that you accomplish your goals? What can you do so that your goals are inspiring you enough so that you are motivated to accomplish your goals? What is it that you deep down care about more than the money, more than that? What is that higher purpose above all else that's motivating you in life? If it is just that relaxation, let's say that you just want to retire one day and you just want to hang out on the beach, that's fine, but you could do that poor. If you watch the movie Office Space, that's his motivation, and great, you've accomplished your life. You don't have to be a hustler to accomplish your goals. If you want to accomplish your goal of creating an awesome business, then do it. But do it because you have this awesome idea that you believe in so passionately that that concept is going to motivate you more than the money itself. It's the idea that you believe that this service or product that you want to create is going to benefit so many people out there that you just have to get it out there, because if they don't get it out there, it would be a dire sin. And that's the belief that we have in Real Social Dynamics to motivate us to make us number one. We are the number one industry leader. You ask Jack Welch what he believes the main core that you need to have in a business. It's that you're going to be the industry leader. You're number one, number two, you're going to get the hell out of business altogether. And the reason why is because if you don't have that super duper strong, impenetrable belief that what you're doing is more powerful than everyone else, that other person who does is going to basically create all those unique selling propositions and knock you out of the game, knock you out of the business. And if you want to be successful, you're going to want to be the guy that is knocking everyone else out of the game. You also have to be willing to emotionally handle the core and pressures and stresses. A lot of people just give up because they don't want to feel that stress. For me, I can't help but feel it. Like sometimes I'll just get angry because something didn't happen. I might feel that anger for like an hour. I remember listening though, as a kid though, there was a guy who had a rock band that was really popular back in the day. I think it's still somewhat popular now, but it was called Rage Against the Machine. And there was this song where the lead singer said, "Anger is a gift." And I kept thinking about that because it was like this anger that kind of like added a fire to me to make me want to take action. And as a result, a lot of my studying sessions, it kind of annoyed a lot of my roommates and my dorm mates when I was in college or my house in boarding school. It was annoying because I was listening to heavy metal when I was studying. I was listening at full blast all the time. And people were like, "Are you crazy, man?" And they're trying to make excuses for why I need to turn down the music. But it allowed me to stay up all night and work. And I think that having any kind of emotion, just feeling something strongly, whether it's a happy, positive emotion because you get so much pleasure, whether it's anger, whether it's anything, that lack of indifference, that emotion, that fire is what's going to motivate you. Of course, you're going to feel a 4 or 5 if you're lackadaisical. That's indifference. The opposite of love is indifference. It isn't hate. If you feel hate, if you feel love, both those things motivate people to war, to build businesses, to build empires. There's the same thing that happens in business. So all you have to do is find something that makes you feel. Is it a movie? Is it a motivation? Is it your friends? Is it your family? Is it that fire you believe that you could accomplish something new? Is it the fact that you want to escape boredom? Find what that is, and then use that to allow yourself to have that motivation, a 10 out of 10 motivation. Please subscribe to my channel today, and if you want to have your questions personally answered, please write them below. I'd love to have your ideas so I can make good videos about them, and I'd love to know what you actually care and think about. If you want to get even more content, visit rsdfoundersclub.com. Learn from me personally, my ideas, business relationships, and mindsets and networking, and also learn from my personal mastermind group that allowed me to build a global company and get the goals I wanted to have accomplished. And if you want to be a member of this group, I will personally answer all of your questions through a series of videos and give you priority treatment for the YouTube videos that I create here from the questions that are posted from my members.